it's like, no, like God's calling us to authentic depth of relationships. And now you're not going to have that with everybody at your church. I mean, there's going to be people that you don't know very well. Like, that's just going to be a reality. Try that with them too. But, you know, there's a core group of people in your church that, like, they want to be in your life and they want you in theirs.
Yeah. Welcome into another episode of Common Ground Podcast, where we find common ground through relationship and scripture. And this week we were able to do that. And let me tell you, I'm super excited about this episode. I'm actually super excited about the next two episodes, which will be the last two episodes of season 3 before we take just a short break, couple months off, before we kick off season 4 with a bang. So before I tell you a little bit about this episode, let me tell you about our sponsor. We are once again sponsored by Morgan's Laserworks, a custom hat, custom design, custom apparel, custom you name it company based in Brandenburg, Kentucky. And as you know, I've told you before, they've done so much for Common Ground Podcast through hats that they've made for our guests and hats that they've made for me and so much more. But now it's time to see what they can do for you. And this is what they can do. They'll take your design and bring it to life through the eyes of their lasers. So I encourage you, check out Morgan's Laserworks on Facebook through the phone number listed on the screen for you and see what they can do for you, because I'm telling you, they do great work and you will not be disappointed. And once again, thank you, Morgan's Laserworks, for partnering with us. Thank you for being a sponsor. Thank you for supporting the show. It's such a blessing to have you as a part of the show. So before I get into the episode, let me tell you, our next guest is an awesome guy that I met. Actually, I'm going to let the episode explain how we met, but let me just tell you, this is a super exciting episode, and I hope you're blessed and encouraged by it. All right, welcome into another episode of Common Ground Podcast. Today I've got Dave Carroll with me. Man, it's so awesome to have you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Really.
Yeah, so really the way we met, I don't even know how to explain this totally, but
I think I can help you if you want me to.
You want it? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I originally was starting my podcast and trying to find some new resources. I've been podcasting for a long time, but this is going to be my first podcast by myself. And I was like trying to connect with other, creators and those sorts of things. And I joined a few groups, and I think we connected on a post. Yeah. And then you messaged me or I messaged you, one of the two, and you were like, "Hey, are you in Kentucky?" And I was like, "Are you in Kentucky?" It was born from there, and it's been really cool to watch you grow and the Common Ground podcast to just take off.
Man, and you were like so helpful, like right away, for not really knowing each other. It was so helpful and awesome to have somebody like close by in proximity to just be willing to, give me some tips and stuff like that.
Yeah. So no, it's been awesome.
It's much appreciated. So, and you're a sports guy too, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what's your sport? What are you into? What are you watching?
Oh man, I used to be one of those guys that I could rattle off stats.
Yep.
Where guys were born, their favorite colors, all that stuff. I do not have the capacity for that anymore. I've got 4 kids. My brain is, totally off in the wind of that. Right now, we're really into baseball and gymnastics. That's what my kids do. So that's kind of what I'm into right now, which is really cool.
That makes sense.
Big Reds fan. Grew up 10 minutes, 15 minutes from the stadium.
Okay.
So that's kind of always been there. I love the Bengals, and I'm a big fan of sports that are live, and so I'm enjoying kind of being close to Louisville now, where we've got some good sports teams, and so it's fun.
Yeah, I'm a huge sports guy, and I'd say I was the same way. I knew it all. I used to intern for the Nashville Predators hockey team for a long time, but it's just you get busy.
Yeah.
And I'd rather go see it live than watch it on TV, so 100%. I don't watch near as much as I used to.
100% same.
Yeah, in baseball, it's like I get into it when my team's good. And my Tigers they were supposed to be good this year, and it's not happening.
I get it, man.
Not happening.
I get it completely.
Yeah. So before we get into these real deep, hard questions I have for you, tell me a little bit about Dave.
Yeah. So as I said, I'm a dad. I'm a husband. My wife and I, Sheena, we've been married since 2012, so for almost 14 years this year. We have 9, a 7, a 3, and a 1-year-old. So as busy as it probably sounds, it is.
Yeah.
And it's fun. We have such a lively, wild household in the best way. We are very active in our church, Ashland Community Church in Buckner, Kentucky. Very, very thankful for that community. I am an entrepreneur. I own my own business, and I nerd out about a lot of business ventures, and so I'm constantly thinking about different things that I can and want to do, and I love connecting with people.
Yeah.
I'm an avid coffee drinker. I love a lot of coffee. I'm a huge fan of music, and like we just talked about sports. I love sports. Yeah. And growing up, I played football and played college football for a season, and so that was a big part of my life and my identity in a lot of bad ways too. And so yeah, I'm sure we'll get into the story here in a little bit, but yeah, man, I'm just a passionate guy. I love a lot of different things. I love my family and my community. Yeah. We're deeply involved in Oldham County, and love being in our city. We're right down the street from Main Street, so we can do a lot of stuff there. And yeah, like I said, love being involved with the church and lead some Bible studies and groups, and yeah, we have a good time.
That's great. So you said connecting with people. I really think that's what drew me to this platform. And the more I do it, the more I go, man, it's not even about the product so much. I love that I get to put something on YouTube and put something out there, but it's more like just this right here.
100%.
Just getting to meet people, and then that connection may turn into something later down the road where it's a blessing for one or both of us. And I hear that in kind of your story.
Yeah.
And the other similarity we have is, I think you're very active in your church, like you just said, and yeah, that's where we're at. We do so much stuff, and it's busy, like you said, with kids and church and all these things, but it's good busy.
Yeah.
It's busy with a blessing, I think.
Absolutely, 100%. I heard this quote one time that a bored man is a dangerous man, in a bad way. And I think that when I heard that, I was like, man, I don't want to be bored. I don't want to be lazy. Yeah. And I think that we can go into a mode where we over-rotate and we get too busy, and then we start dropping the ball and things. We can go too far over the spectrum, but I'm thankful that we are very active and we do a lot of stuff because it just keeps things fun, and we love just serving other people and being around our community, man. It's really special.
That's awesome. And then the other thing you brought up was you're an avid coffee drinker.
Yes.
Listen, I can give you 2 good connections.
Let's go.
For coffee. So in E-Town, so the first one I'll tell you is a guy we go to church with, Under the Oak Tree Coffee Roasters.
Okay.
He makes his own coffee.
Let's go.
Roasts his own coffee beans. I go to church with him. Great guy. You can purchase from him. And then the other one is a guy that I had on the show, John Pack, who has a coffee shop here in town, Yokefellow Coffee Roasters, Christian owned, awesome business. So I'm doing some plugs here. You're welcome.
Let's go. Yes, I'm here for that.
So those guys are both top tier coffee, especially in Hardin County. So I know you're in Louisville, but
hey, listen, I drive through here often. So
yeah, check those guys out. So Common Ground. So obviously that's the name of the podcast, but we have some other common ground. I think we've discovered some as we've talked here. But media is kind of another area where we have common ground. I'm assuming you serve in media at your church.
Yes.
I serve in media at my church. That's kind of partially where it started for me. So we have that in common. But tell me kind of where that love for media, that passion for it started for you.
Yeah. So I spent almost 10 years in corporate America. And in that time, I was leading teams and being a salesperson and all these different things that I did, but outside it was kind of like this around like 2016. I feel like podcasts were really starting to blossom in a lot of ways. I think your like big podcasters have been doing it for about 4 years or 5 years, and so my best friend and I were like, man, we like love having these conversations. Like, why don't we just record them, put them out there, see what happens? And so we started what was called the Dave and Dev podcast, which we did for almost 6 years. And so it was kind of my first like foray into doing anything media related. And in that, obviously, we're, trying to figure out how to promote it on social media, how to get sponsors and all these things. And so I was starting to learn how to speak the language. I was doing a lot of editing of the audio, videos, those sorts of things. And so I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And then my last little bit in corporate America, I was doing a lot of on-camera work where I was leading trainings and I was mentoring people that were across the country. And so we were face to face. And so I had to learn how to look presentable on camera and learn, you know what I'm saying? Like all these things that I was actually in front of the camera, which is, I don't recommend that for myself. It's not where I should be. But I enjoyed it. And I really loved the process. I loved learning about how I can present better and how I can and show, hey, here's how you want to hold your hands. It's okay to talk with your hands a little bit, but don't have them up here, right? Yeah. And so I enjoyed just the whole process from the technical aspect to the final product. And it was really something I enjoyed. And so when I left my corporate job and I began okay, what am I going to do? I'm not meant to sit in a cubicle for the rest of my life. That's not for me. What can I do? What am I passionate about? And I was like, man, I could really see myself doing something in media, in the space where I'm helping tell stories. Yeah. And that kind of was blossomed really in 2022 when my church, who I'd been podcasting with for the last year or so, I'd been doing some stuff with our pastors and those sorts of things. And they were like, hey, would you help us put together this video series? I'm like, dude, I've never used a camera in my life other than my webcam on my phone. But sure, I'll try it. And we were actually really trying to do something that looked decent. I fell in love. I was doing a lot of pre-production, a lot of planning and things like that, facilitating. All my footage is terrible. We used none of it. So that's the funny claim to fame about this whole project is that I ended up being a videographer, having a video production business, but all my footage was just pure trash, which is fine. And it was so cool though, man. I was just itching to do more storytelling. And then I just bought a camera and went all in to learn. And here we are 4 years later doing this full time. And it's been really cool. And so with that has kind of evolved in how we do things at church as well, with upgrading a lot of stuff there and doing a better job with that because again, I want to do it for the glory of God. And whether that's how we show up on social media and are authentically who we are. We're not out here trying to gain millions of followers. We're just trying to be faithful to what's in front of us. And we want to put our best foot forward there and work as if we're working for the Lord, right? Yeah. And so that's how I try to approach social media from that perspective as well too. So
that's awesome. So for me, it started in high school.
Okay.
I had a class, a media production class, and we had afternoon announcements and all that. And I went to school for it. I went to MTSU for media production and just kind of really loved it. And then ended up in retail, kind of similar in that trap, and kind of got away from it. And then COVID really drove me back to it. The church was like, hey, we need to be on Facebook Live. We need to start doing these things like a lot of people did. And I was like, okay, well, I jumped in and we started doing all this stuff. And the more and more we're getting in and growing and changing, I'm like, man, I miss this. I miss doing a lot of this stuff. And I'm the same way. I just enjoy it. I love doing it. And I have a passion for it. I'm not going to say don't need to learn some more because I think we all do. But I just love it. I love the media aspect of it. And like you said, getting it out there for the glory of the Lord and letting people, I think I've said before, social media that's a mission field. We talk about missions as going places, but it's right in our homes, it's in our backyards, it's our social media, it's all of those things. And it can turn into something we do for followers and fame and all that, but if we're doing it for Him, it's gonna grow and it's gonna flourish. So.
I can't tell you how many actually legitimately gospel productive conversations I've had with people that only know me from social media.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with me. It's just that the way the Lord has wired me to utilize that as a platform is just really cool. And I think it's really important that as Christians, if we're on there, which I don't think everyone has to be on there,
sure.
But I think if we are on there, we have an opportunity to steward it well, just like we do anything else that we do, right? And so I think that social media is no exception to that. We can do a good job at it if we think through that and pray about that. And we try to act in that way. So
yeah, that's a good point. Praying about it and making sure we're going in the direction that He leads us, and doing it well, striving for excellence in all the things that we do. So that's good. So that kind of leads me to One Stop Media Kentucky. So where did that start? Where's it at today? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So just again to kind of piggyback off of the how it really started was with the church kind of documentary mini series sort of thing that we did to try to help engage our members and help them. I just, like I said, I fell in love telling stories, and I was like, man, how can I do more of this? I bought a camera. Kind of went with the lowest barrier to entry, so I started showing up to sporting events. I love sports, so it was kind of easy. I could get in there, I could speak the language. Hey, yeah, I'd love to make you a mixtape, whatever. Can maybe show my age a little bit, but and now they call them mixes. That's it. You don't say mixtape, it's just a mix. Yeah. So anyway, I just started showing up. My friends opened a business and started kind of doing some work for them. And met a couple other people. Hey, can you show up for $100? Yeah, sure, whatever. And, so 2023 starts, and I have 13 vacation days at my job, which can be split up in like half-day increments too. So by June, I had used all of them to work. We didn't take a vacation. I used all of them to film. And my wife, who is extremely risk averse in a lot of ways, she is the more financially conservative of the two of us, for sure. I need that in my life, though. She said I should quit and do this full time. I was like, are you sure? That means it's going to be tough, it's going to be hard. She was like, yeah, we've done hard things before. And so I quit October 1st, 2023 to do this full time and never looked back. And today we get the pleasure to serve businesses, nonprofit organizations, all types of different, clientele across any spectrum. And help them with video production and photos and events and corporate, and nonprofit galas and all those sorts of things. We get to do all kinds of really cool stuff, man. And it's still from that same vein of storytelling, which I love. No matter what it is, whether it's an event or it's me helping somebody figure out how to communicate their new product or service, all that is telling a story, right? Yeah. And when clients that are trying to attract a certain, customer or other business that they're trying to look for, it's a story that they're trying to tell at the end of the day, right? And so I get to do that same core thing across so many different platforms and so many different perspectives. And so, One Stop is a really cool thing that I'm really thankful I get to be a part of. The Lord has so evidently ordained it for me to have great opportunities to share my story with others and love on them well, but also produce good product for them, good service for them. And it's really sweet, and it's provided for my family in ways I never would have imagined.
I think that's awesome too, because a lot of these places people don't know how to do it. And for you to be able to provide that, I think is absolutely a blessing for, I'm sure, the businesses you work for. And I just think it's it's a blessing that, you're getting to do what you love and provide for your family. I think that's a blessing that the Lord's provided for you. So that's awesome.
100%, man.
Yeah. So we're going to switch gears. So can you handle that?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I want to go. I love asking this question because I think the conversation is great that we're having, but ultimately this is one of those questions I leave in every time because I think it really blesses the people listening, and I think these are the stories that I think people need to hear. So share with me your salvation story.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah.
I grew up in church. I was a churched kid. My mom, she took me every time the doors were open. I was at Awana. I was at VBS, all the things, I knew and had heard all the things.
Yeah.
And I knew how to regurgitate them. And my flesh, still to this day, the sin that I probably fight the most is people pleasing. I knew how to please people. I knew how to walk the walk. I knew how to talk the talk. But I did not live a surrendered life. But I tell this story, and it's sad. I hate to say it, but I think I was maybe 9 or 10 years old, And my mom and I had just had a massive argument in the parking lot of our church on Sunday morning. And in my mind, all I could think about was like, okay, how am I going to make this right? Not in a restorative, reconciling way, but like, how am I going to make this right just for ease, right? And I'll never forget the pastor asked if anyone would be, willing to come down to the altar and like make a profession of faith in some way, shape, or form. And I was like, this is it. This is my chance to like get on my mom's good side in a lot of ways. So I did. And I got baptized. And then my mom and I and my stepdad, we ended up going to a different church and a totally different style. And so I went through confirmation in the Methodist church, which is basically just like them confirming that you know what the church believes in a lot of ways. And so I'm walking the walk, talking the talk, know all the things to say. And really continued with that up through, playing, high school sports and college sports. I really found my identity in that. Yeah. And then, I would go to church here and there, but I was like, man, I'm good. Like, I know what I'm doing. I know, like, it's all good, but I was not living right, in a lot of ways as well. So my freshman year at EKU, so I played college football for a year at another school, transferred the spring semester. And my freshman year at EKU, I played basketball more than I did anything else because I didn't make the football team. And so I was shattered, which was fine. It all worked out. But I played a ton of basketball. And there was a guy that I played basketball with named Adam. And in that semester, we fought and argued every time we were on the court together, to the point where we could no longer play on the same team for sure, and we could no longer play against each other. Yeah. I would go to the other court. If he was on the court first, he would go to the other court if I was on the court first, and that was just the way it was. Fast forward about 2 years. Again, we're kind of doing this thing. My wife and I had gotten married already. Definitely made the right decision there, but it was in a lot of ways under false pretenses. Like I just thought I knew these things, right? Yeah. So fast forward a couple years. This is end of 2013, and I am working in a retail store, and we have like this queue of people waiting, 15 people waiting. It's very busy. And so I finish helping my customer. I'm like, perfect, it's break time. I look up at the queue, Adam is waiting. I'm like, great timing for my lunch break. Click, clock out, lunch break. Come back from my lunch break, he's still waiting. So you're talking like he's probably been waiting for like 45 minutes at this point. I'm like, you know what? Be a good time for me to go use the bathroom right now. Go use the restroom real quick. 5 minutes, he's still waiting. And I'm like, my boss is going to kill me if I do not help him. Straight kill me. There's no way she's gonna light into me. So I go and help him. Do my best to be professional. Hey, greet him. How's it going? How can I help you? Immediately, the second he spoke, there was something different about his voice, and I could tell right away he was a different person than the Adam I knew from 2 years ago that I wanted to punch in the face every day. And there was the softness in which he spoke. Yeah. And this almost kind of reverence, I guess, would be a great way, like a churchy word to describe it. But man, he was just different, and I knew it immediately. But I'm still skeptical, right? So anyway, he's like, hey, it's great talking to you. Thanks for helping me. I fixed something, whatever. He leaves. Yeah. So like a few days later, he comes back into the store and asks for me. So I have to help him again. Like if somebody asks for you, you help them, period. Yeah. That's the rule. So I have to help him again. Same thing. And whatever it was, super menial task. I got it done. While I'm doing it, he's like, man, where do you go to church at? And I was telling him, I was like, we kind of go to this one church. Well, whatever. We weren't really going. We weren't really active. But like that was the church we had been going to. He was like, man, you should come check out my church. I was like, my response, like, you go to church, dude? That's crazy. Like I thought it would catch on fire if you walked in. Like this is my thought process. And He's like, man, you should come check it out. We have a small group that meets too. It's really cool. Like, it's at our pastor's house. He played college basketball, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, cool, yeah, I know him. So we're like connecting the dots of some mutual friends we have. So I show up. I'm like, okay, this is cool, whatever. I'm starting to, I see this, like, I'm starting to see this change, right? So we start meeting up for coffee, and this is at the end of my, like, college career, my, like, time in college. He's like, you want to go grab coffee? I was like, oh, that's weird. Who does that, He's like, 9 a.m. I'm like, man, that's kind of early, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we start meeting up, and the head pastor of the church that had planted the church that we were going to at the time had written these series of discipleship books, and they were really good. And you could go with them from, with somebody that was 6 years old or 96 years old. They were super simple, but really strong biblical discipleship principles. Again, I'm kind of going through it. I know all the answers. I'm saying all the right things. I'm in the zone when we're having these. I didn't realize it, but he was discipling me. But like when we're having these like discipleship meetings, he's like, I'm answering all the questions. And I'd say we probably met for about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 5. And we're sitting at the coffee shop in Richmond, Kentucky. And I just looked him in the face after we prayed, and I said, I don't know how to really explain this, but I don't think I was a Christian before, but now I am. And I can feel that something is changing in my heart. And I really want to live differently. Like, I want to live for Jesus. Yeah. I've lived for myself for, however long at that point, 21 years. Like, I've lived for myself this whole time. And I know that I want to live for Jesus now. And he was like, great, let's do it, So that day I went home. My wife, she was working and she had a lunch break, and she came home. And I'm like sitting on the couch when she gets there, and I'm kind of tearing up, and she's like, what's wrong? And I just said, I failed you. She was like, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, I really, this whole time, my whole life, really, I thought I've like lived a life that knew Jesus, I don't think I did, but now I do, for sure. I know that I know that I know. I was hungry, and my life changed on a dime. Yeah. The way that I thought about other people, the way that I interacted with, those customers at work that were tough, and the situations I was encountering, I was starting to feel remorse. I was starting to feel like hurt by my own sin. I was starting to be aware of my own sin. And it was such a change in my life. And I got baptized a couple of weeks later, even though I had been baptized as a kid, and went through confirmation, all that stuff. And then shortly thereafter, my wife was kind of experiencing a lot of those same things. Like, and I remember her having a similar conversation, like, I really feel the same way. Like, I really know that I know now. Yeah. And I don't know what that looked like. I know some people know the date and time. I can give you an approximate time of when I said that, but like I know that it was happening over the course of those few weeks that we were meeting, where the Lord was really working on me and like breaking me away from like, hey, I know this up here, but like I want you to know it here, Right. And I could feel that change. And yeah, man, it's so crazy how it happened. My wife got baptized shortly thereafter, and it was so cool to just see us, the Lord just working on us, and things that we were doing in our life were slowly being, pushed away, and new things were coming, and wanting to spend time with our community at church, and wanting to be, kind to our neighbors, wanting to actually talk to our neighbors and serve them in a way that was different than what we had previously done. And man, it's just been so cool. So now we're here 13-ish years later, 12 years later, and to see, my wife leading in the way she leads with the women at our church and within her friend groups and with our home, and me being able to have opportunities to lead men at our church and to lead small groups. I literally, this is crazy. This is, we're in 2026. I lead a small group that my pastor is in. Like, if you would have told me 10 years ago that like I would be leading a group that my pastor, who preaches almost every Sunday, is in, and I am helping guide conversation that he has started, I'm like, you are crazy. Yeah. But the Lord is funny to do stuff like that, and he redeems, man, and it's been so sweet. Like, and it's been hard. Like, 12 years have been hard.
Yeah.
It's been some of the hardest years I could have ever imagined, through mental health, through, a worldwide pandemic, in which impacted me, greatly in a lot of ways and so many others. And, but to be here and listen to things and to look back and see where the Lord has brought us. And it's been a really sweet time, man. And I'm thankful. Like my wife said this yesterday, we were talking about a situation and she was like, I'm praying that the Lord would save them. And I don't know why he did, but he saved us out of our own crap, all of our own stuff.
Yeah.
So if he can do that, he can save them too. And we can pray to that end. And I think about that all the time. Is like, why did he pick me?
Yeah.
And he's just kind, man.
Listen, we have so much more in common than that I'm finding out today, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
Because I grew up the same way. I knew all the stuff, did all the things, and I guess the difference would be I felt like I was doing the church stuff growing up. I went on the mission trips. I was there when the doors were open, all those things. And I believed I had that relationship because I knew all the stuff. But I think in a lot of ways I was doing it because I felt like I was supposed to.
Yep.
But later in life, when I came here, it was different. It was because he changed me. And because then you begin to want to do it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes just your lifestyle. It becomes who you are. And I hear that in your story. And the other part of it is like, we say it's crazy or it's wild, but it's really just God and it's how he works.
That's what he does, yeah.
But to send somebody that you couldn't stand, right?
100%.
To be the one that leads you back to where you need to be or leads you where we can, like I said, we can use our words.
I could never have written that out.
No, you can't make that
I would have never made that one up.
That's so cool. And so you said small groups. So we call our small groups at Bethesda, we call them First Church.
Okay.
So the other thing we have in common is my pastor, that's like a spiritual father to me, is in my first church. So we're in
So you get it.
Yeah, I totally get it. But I love it too.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. And then, when he sits next to me and says, man, the way you said that was really awesome, you're just like, oh yeah, that's encouraging. That feels good.
It is. It's crazy to imagine, man, for sure.
That's cool. So on that same note, we'll go into this. So share with me through all of this, what's been a verse, a life verse for you that's been really impactful for you?
Man, there's so many. It's funny because I think I sent you one. I think I sent you James 1, 2 through 4.
Yep.
Count it all joy. And that's such a good one. But the one that's just been really on my heart for 6 years now or so is Psalm 42. As a deer pants for water, so my soul thirsts for you.
Yeah.
And it's been on my heart because it came to me through a song at our church at the time. It's by the Sing Team. I'm blanking on what the name of the song is actually called, but I know Psalm 42 is in the title. Anyway, and I remember hearing that song, and I was in this like pit of despair at the moment that we heard the song. So we sang it in church, and I was like, man, that was so good, So I'd taken a picture of the church layout for the day, what a bulletin, yes,
Yeah.
Words. I'd taken a picture of the church bulletin, and that song was on it because I wanted to remember what song it was. So I looked it up, and when I was in the car on the way home, and I just had tears just streaming down my face. And one of the parts of the song is like, "As your breakers and your waves crash over me," and I just felt that. I felt like I was just in this sea and I couldn't see anything, and he was there like a buoy, just like out there ready to rescue me. Even though I'd already known him, but in this moment, it just was like, it was such an encouragement to me.
Yeah.
Fast forward, in 2021, I was working my retail job in Indianapolis, and I'd already been struggling with some anxiety and depression, specifically related to my work. It was very hard. It was very stressful. And in June 2021, I had a panic attack while I was driving. I was starting to have a really hard time seeing. I couldn't control my breathing. I saw a gas station up kind of in the distance. So I was like, man, if I can get to this gas station, I'm going to be okay. If I can get there, I'm going to be okay. So I get to the gas station, open up the door, I puke out the side of the door, start crying, and I call my wife and I said, hey, I'm coming home. I'll talk to you about it when I get there, but like I can't do this anymore. So it's maybe not super hard to tell, but you know, I'm 6'5", 300-pound dude, and I'm curled up in my bed like a baby, just weeping, and crying out to God to get me out of this situation. And as I said earlier, my wife and her risk-averse, financially conservativeness was like, hey, you should quit. We'll figure it out. The Lord will provide. But like, you can't do this anymore. This is not healthy. This is not sustainable. I was 29 years old. I was in the worst shape of my life. It was awful. It was truly terrible. And so I quit my job. We moved back to Louisville area, Oldham County. And I'm promised there's a point to this story. And I'm driving on the street, almost the exact same streets that I would have driven on when I would have been leaving church heading home. And that song is on a playlist that I have. And I click to the next song and it plays on the street that I remember weeping down because I was just because even though it was 2021 that the panic attack happened, I was already starting to feel that in 2019 and 2018. And because I just had this identity crisis, I was like, man, I know God, I know I'm supposed to be working for you, but this feels like what you've called me to. And I took so much pride in my work, and I took so much responsibility to lead my family that I kind of shifted to the wrong side of things in a lot of ways, because I was seeing it as such a big deal, and pride was so heavy in there. And but anyways, I was driving down the street, and my tears had changed. Right, they were tears of joy, and that Psalm 42, I could feel the Lord changing my heart again to actually thirst for Him, and not thirst for being the best at my job, not thirst for the promotion, not thirst for a better paycheck so that I can provide for my family exponentially. I know for Him, and I could see that because I had no other option. I had nowhere else to turn again. It's this is all Him. We took a $60,000 pay cut, $70,000 pay cut when I left my job. Yeah. So and that was when things were starting to raise in inflation, all these things. I had to trust Him, and that time in my life, that 2 or 3 year transition to honestly get to where we are today. It was desperation, and I could see and feel that God was calling me to say to be desperate every day for Him, nothing else. And how that's trickled into the rest of my life is really sweet. And so I love James 1-2-4. But Psalm 42, man, has just been such a sweet reminder of my need for Him, and the need I have to surrender my life to Him daily, every day.
A couple things with that. I think what you said is really cool, because when our mindset changes, and I'm thirsting for Him, I'm desperate for Him, all the things you said that you weren't chasing anymore in those moments, He provides all that. Yes. When I'm desperate for Him, the provision to take care of my family is there. I say this all the time. When we put God first above all the other stuff, everything else falls right where it's supposed to be. And then we have the things that we need. And the second thing, you switch verses, which is great, because it brings me to this point. In the different seasons of our lives, that's why we know it's a living, breathing document, because it speaks to us in different parts of our lives. I share all the time, Philippians 4, 6, and 7 is one for me. And it still is, but it's different part. It means something different as the seasons of my life change. Not that the verse changed, but He's revealing more to me through His Word. So I think that's really awesome that, it's real. It just shows you that His Word is real, and it's working in our lives. So.
Man, you're so right. It's insane. The scriptures are so evident that He is with us, and He uses His Word and the Holy Spirit to reveal new things to us. Not new nothing new is under the sun, but new to our walk with Him.
That's right.
To say like, hey, this is what this means, really. And like, you've got a glimpse of it now, but like, wait until heaven.
Yeah.
Wait until it's in fullness, you know.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
That's awesome. So I guess I'll get to this. So Common Ground Podcast, you know, when I felt like the Lord gave me that title, I'm like, what do you mean? What does that mean? Why is that what you're imparting in my heart? And you've maybe heard me say this before, but I start looking it up and I get this verse. I start praying about it, seeking, looking in the Word, and this verse is what I get. 1 Corinthians 9:22 says, when I'm with those who are weak, I share their weakness, for I want to bring the weak to Christ. Yes, I try to find common ground with everyone, doing everything I can to save some. So I've taken that verse and I've tried to ask everybody I talk to, how can we do that better?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
So how can we find common ground with others better? I say this all the time. We have so much more in common with other people than we think. And when we slow down and we genuinely fight, because it is a fight, it is not easy. I think to some people it comes easier than others. However, it is still a fight to ask people how their day's going, what things in their life they're really proud of, and I love asking that question. What are ways that you've experienced joy the last month or 2 months?
Yeah.
To hear the answer to those two questions, what an amazing segue, because then you bring out somebody's passion. Oh, I got to watch my son walk his graduation ceremony last week. Oh, that's amazing. Where did he go to school at? Oh, here. Did he, what was his favorite part about going there? Well, he was on the football team. Oh my gosh, I played football.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be, right? We have so much more in common with each other than we think, and that crosses so many demographic lines and geopolitical lines and all these things. It's like, man, anybody, you can find common ground with just about anybody.
Yeah.
My church, we were literally just doing a mission event this morning for 30 people that were from all over the world, specifically about 7 different countries in Africa. When I look at those guys and I look at their background and their experience, in reality, we should have the least amount probably in common of anybody.
Right.
But you know what we bonded over today? Is soccer. Soccer is a worldwide language. Yeah. It's a worldwide sport. And it's like, that is a great starting point. And then you get into it, oh, who's your favorite player? Oh, you like that guy? Oh, I don't know about him. He flops a lot or whatever, right? But it's like you get this common ground. You get to laugh together. Yeah. Oh, do you guys like to do this or that? And you'd be so surprised at how much of that is the same. Yeah. They were talking about this game they used to play in elementary school this morning. I remember playing that same game in like middle school. Like you put a bottle cap in a rubber band and flick people with it. It's a terrible game and I don't recommend it. It hurts people.
Yeah, I played.
However, like you're halfway around the world. We have the same experience. Yeah. Like the guy was telling me, he's like, my teacher used to get on to me that every day. I'm like, mine too. It's like that's just 2 or 3 things right away with people that are from a completely different continent. Yeah. So when we fight to let our guard down and ask good questions and genuinely seek to understand someone, I think the common ground becomes so much more evident. Yeah. And it becomes so much more real. Yeah. And the reality that we are so similar with people that we, maybe on the surface wouldn't think that. Yeah. And that's vital. It's vital to our walk as Christians. I think it's vital to the human life, to human flourishing in general. Yeah. Is like realizing that we do have a lot in common with each other.
Yeah. And we spend too much time looking for the opposite. It's easy for me to look at all the stuff that I don't like. Yeah. All the negative stuff and all the stuff that we don't have in common. And I think that's really where we have to get to, is working together as believers, as followers of Christ, and finding those things and just getting along. And I believe the scripture tells us that. Yeah. I believe, I've been doing these little shorts on the one another's of scripture over the last 30 or 40 days. And I believe when you look at those, he's telling us right there, stop bickering, stop fighting, stop looking for all those things, and just get along.
Yeah.
Love each other and be more like me, Christ. Not me, because I mess up all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But be more like Christ.
What does Paul say? Imitate me as I imitate Christ.
That's right.
He doesn't say imitate me.
That's right.
He's just the middleman trying,
right.
you know?
Yeah. And I think that's so important. So I appreciate that. I appreciate what you're doing and your kingdom work and the stuff you guys are doing. And I appreciate you sharing all that. So as we talk about ministry, we talk about these things outside of media, outside of those things that you've got going on. How do you see the Lord using you? What else is he using you in this season?
Yeah. I would be remiss not to talk about this, and I'm actually surprised I forgot about it earlier. Over the last 6 months, I've had the pleasure and the joy to be on the board of the Kentucky Christian Chamber of Commerce, to bring the kingdom into the workplace. And it's been really special. I love being a part of bringing people together, being a resource for other people. That's one of my favorite things about what I do, is that so often I meet with people and I have no monetary gain. It's me saying, hey, based off our conversation, I think it would be amazing for you to meet this person, or for you to go this route and do this.
Yeah.
I love doing that. And now we're like trying to bring together a platform to do that, specifically for other Christians in business. And so it's really sweet. It's helped me to have great conversations with non-Christians as well. And so just using, my resources and my connections across the state of Kentucky to build and to help other people. We've already had countless number of people be like, oh my gosh, there's somebody that's a Christian and they're an electrician in my town. That's amazing. Yeah. I would love to use a Christian electrician and know that they're good and trustworthy and they're going to do good work.
Yeah.
And I know where this money goes. I know that they're tithing to their church. I know that they, have a family at home, right? And not that we shouldn't support other businesses too. If they do good work, let's use those good, that's good work. But it's if we have the opportunity to help another Christian business, to help another Christian business leader, it's been so sweet to just watch people raise up across the state that want that community, that I feel very fortunate. I have a good group of Christian business owners and leaders around me.
Yeah. But
we have met people in Louisville, Lexington, Bowling Green, Northern Kentucky, Southern and Western Kentucky. They don't have anybody. There's people that we have heard people say they know not a single other Christian business owner. And that's really crazy to me. I'm so thankful I know 5 really closely. And for me, it's been really special to connect and to help be a bridge for that. And so, the Lord's really working through that. We had a goal, and this is probably going to sound like kind of a small goal, but we had a goal to have 30 members by the end of 2026 across the state. We didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
We had 39 people sign up in the first weekend. It was
awesome.
Live in April. And it was okay, the Lord's going to clearly use this, and that's great. And we've already given away money, because again, that was our goal, we're not trying to hoard this money and build an amazing team. And we're just trying to steward it well. And I'm really thankful for that. Really, really grateful for that. On the outskirts of that even, just seeing how the Lord is using, so many people within our church community and in the nonprofit community to bring together people that have different skill sets to help impact the kingdom and again, do good work together. And further that. And so I'm seeing so many awesome things, and I'm seeing it in your podcast. I'm seeing it, in the people around that want to do good work and want to tell good stories for one mission, and that's to honor the Lord and to make Him known, right? And that's the goal, right? Yeah. And so for me, I'm man, I just keep seeing so many opportunities for that, and I'm seeing the Lord work in ways that I would have never expected Him to work. It's just been really special. Yeah,
I've seen that just from this. You don't realize how many Christian business owners and things that there are around until, for me, I start looking for sponsors. I start looking for things, and then it was man, they just start popping up, like the Yokefellow Coffee Shop in town. He was just opening that as I was booming into season 2. I'm oh man, that's a great opportunity to get somebody to talk to that's Christian in business. Hopefully get him out there. And then I had the board game guys, Letters of the Word, local guys that made a Christian board game, and I think it's important that we support that, and I think what you're doing is great, so that's really cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So with all of this and with all the things you're doing in ministry, what would you consider like one of the more vital aspects of ministry?
Man, we have such an opportunity as a church, the church, capital C church, globally, to remember, one, that the people that come to our church are people and they need attention and love and care. And I see that happening really well, at least in my church context, within our small groups, within how we are, focused on making sure that they're receiving good counsel when it's needed. And two, like, we have to be on mission outside of it, right? So we have this two-pronged approach, right? Where it's like, hey, we've got this flock already here. We've got to take care of them, and we've got to love and steward that well. I'm thankful to see my pastors and my leadership do that really well, which I think trickles down into us as like, right. I'm going to call myself like a micro leader, and like I have this like smaller group that I lead and those sorts of things. So it kind of trickles down and it hopefully helps grow more micro leaders to be the hands and feet, right? So that's one prong, one pillar. And the second is that like we have to be on mission in and around our city. Yeah. I think it's so vital that we go out and we go on mission trips and we go to other countries and we go and share the gospel to the ends of the earth, right? Yeah. Like in Acts, Judah, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. It doesn't just say Judah and Judah outskirts and like, don't go too far, It's to the end of the earth, right? However, it still says Judah, right? And so we have to work locally and we have to do a good work within our communities. And it's vital. There's like, we're here in Hardin County. You go up to, Bullitt County, even into Oldham County and Jefferson County. I mean, you have like single digit percentages of people that go to church. Yeah. Like I think Bullitt County is 7% churched. That's crazy. I live in Oldham County, one of the wealthiest counties in the Commonwealth. We're like 8% churched. That's crazy to me. Yeah. So what that tells me is we have opportunity. Yeah. We have so much opportunity to love on our community well, to meet people within the community, to be able to share the love of Christ with them. And I think that we have such an opportunity that's never been present before because we can reach them in so many ways. Yeah. As my brain works, when I think about media, like we have a great opportunity using our media to provide an ecosystem, right? If you meet me out for coffee, right? You're like, man, Dave's a good guy. I think what church did he say he goes to? Ashland? Okay, that's cool, whatever. And then you connect with me on social media. And then I'm sharing all the Ashland stuff, and you're like, that's his church. That's pretty cool that they do XYZ. Yeah. Oh, they have VBS? Cool, I'll send my kid there next year. Yeah. And your kid shows up, and then you see me again. You're like, oh, you're the same Dave I met for coffee. Your church is the same church that I see online. Like, we were like desperate for a community. Yeah. Come on, let's come on by. Yeah. Whatever. And it builds an ecosystem of kingdom work, right? That's right. And so for me, like that's the way my brain works when I think about how we utilize our social media, how we utilize YouTube and those sorts of things. It's like, I want to help build an ecosystem that people are like, man, this is really who they are. And it's not some facade. It's not flashy lights and big cameras and great, amazing sound, which we try to do those things well too, but it's like, we're not, super techie. Like, no, we just do the best we can with what we have. And yeah. Like we want people to see that, like, hey, we're real people that, like, we have struggles and we have conflict and we have all these things, right? We're messy, but like at the end of the day, it's like we're a group of people that love Jesus, and because of that common denominator of loving Jesus, that we work together to do good work. That's it. And so for me, when I think about those two pillars of making sure that our congregation is fed well and taken care of, and that we're doing a good work in our community, that spills out into everything else we do. International missions, going across the country to help plant other churches, all those things, like all that flows from those two pillars. Yeah, and it starts with what we talked about earlier, putting Jesus first and letting all that flow down. And then the other thing I'm hearing is we don't go to the same church, but we can still work together. Yeah, 100%. Because
are in the same kingdom.
Yeah.
We are serving the same Jesus. We are serving the same God. And that, I don't think, is the normal.
Yeah.
What I just said, I don't think is the normal. And I think it has to be.
Yeah.
I think if we're in this together, we can get rid of the titles and the names. We're not going to take them off the building, of course, not saying that, but we can work together.
Yeah, 100%.
I can send my kids to another VBS in town. They're going to come to ours, of course, because that's where I'm getting fed. That's the flock that I'm a part of. That's where I'm in covenant with. But I can send them to another one.
Yeah.
And they can get fed there. Another Bible-believing place. And I can go to a revival at another church to support them. We got to get there.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing from what you're saying.
100%. I mean, it's so important, man. And I think that when churches in the same community work together for the same common goal, which I don't really think we have a great example of, to be honest with you. Like, I don't even know what that looks like. Like, in my mind, I'm like, man, what does that even look like? But I'm thinking about, like, you know, how I've seen people come together after tragedies and things like that, right? Your churches just kind of pile in, and you're like, man, that's what it should look like all the time, right? Like we should be on that same mission field. And I know that we're going to have differences, and some of those may be irreconcilable. I understand that.
Yeah.
However, like, if we're really Bible-believing churches that believe in the saving work of Christ and Christ alone, then, like, we can, and we have common ground to be able to do that.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. Well, man, that's awesome. That's what this is about for me. That's what the Lord laid on my heart with this, is to be able to do that. Because that first season when I was doing this, I had several different guys from my church come on. But as it grew, I had different people from different churches, and those relationships have been a blessing to my family. They've been a blessing to my church. They've been a blessing in so many different ways. And I want to foster that.
Yeah.
I want to foster that exact thing with this, and in any way that He leads me to do that.
Absolutely, man. It's so special. It really is. And I'm thankful that you had me on.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful to have, I mean, like, I know that we've been interacting for at least the last 2 years or so.
Yeah.
And to see what this podcast has done, to see what you've done. I mean, even when it comes down to the snack videos and the drink videos and the fun stuff that you do that people probably don't think correlate here, they do. Yeah. And it just shows who you are, and it shows how the Lord has, you know, I think one of the common misnomers that people have is that Christians don't have fun. I'm like, dude, I never not see you smiling. You know, I never don't see you, you know, having a good time in a good way, in a healthy way with your family. Like, what better example to the world than, like, hey, I do this with my kids. We love each other. We have fun together. And we love Jesus.
That's right.
And, like, at the end of the day, that is such a great godly example. So I commend you, and I'm proud to, like, have seen this thing grow from, you know, I remember when you were, you know, hey, can you get me to 50 followers, 50 subscribers, and now you're pushing 1,000, right? And you know, it's only up from here. Like, they always say that, like, 1,000 is the hard one to get to, and, like, once you get here, it's like only up from here, man. It's cool to watch, and I'm really proud to know and see what you've done. And it is really crazy to me this is the first time we met in person, because, like, I feel like I've been cheerleading you for, you know, 2 years now, sure. And same for me. I mean, you've always, you know, pumped up my stuff and all that stuff, and I'm grateful, and it's really, really special. So
I really appreciate that. It means the world. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you coming on. Because this has been, you know, to me, it's been a long time coming. I've been thinking about it for a long time. I'm glad we were finally able to do it. But before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to share with those listening, an encouraging word as we close out here?
Man, this life has seasons. Some of those seasons are really long. Some of them are really short, but most of them are really long. I cannot encourage people enough that are listening to this to dig in with community that loves you, that's going to tell you hard things, that, like, when you ask them a question, if they immediately agree with you on every question you ask them, it may not be the right community. Just to be honest, have people in your life that will say, hey, this is not a good idea, or hey, you're doing the right thing. Yeah. And I cannot tell you enough, man. It's in our church name. It has been so special to me, but being a part of Ashland Community Church and being a part of the community there has been one of the greatest joys of my life, and has changed my life forever. the saving work of Christ, obviously the most life-changing thing, but to have people that helped mold that by holding me accountable, by loving me and my family when we were struggling, trying to figure out how to parent and all these things. And they walked through all those seasons with us and walked through the season of me leaving my job to do this full time. And like, man, and those same people that today or tomorrow when I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do? I know who to call. I'm not alone. This life was not meant to be lived alone. When we isolate ourselves, it's the easiest way for the enemy to creep in. It's the easiest way for ourselves, our own thoughts and our own just junk in our heads to creep in. And it's like, that's not how God intended for us to live.
That's right.
And he gave us the church. Like, yes, the personal work of Jesus is for each of us individually.
That's right.
But like Ephesians 5 tells us that like to love our wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. The church is broad, right? That's a broad term. And so if like we're sacrificing for our wife properly, it looks like how Jesus sacrificed for the whole church and for the people that know him. And that same body is the people that he's put us in community with. So go be in community with them.
Yeah.
And so my biggest encouragement is like in these seasons where things are great or where things are really poor, dig in with the community that you have around you. Dig in with people that are struggling and hurting and love them well too. Because there's going to be a time where you need that and you want those people to be by your side and to love you well and to be that village, right? It takes a village. To be that village that helps lift you up and help raise your boat in the rising tides, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This church community that I'm in has been the one that's proven that to me, the importance of it. Because I've heard all my life, well, I don't have to go to church to have a relationship with Jesus. Well, that's probably true, but I look at my life today and I go, if you plucked that out of my life, I can rattle off all the things I would go, well, what would I do if this happened? Who would I call when this? What? It's about relationship, man.
Yeah, it's so true. I think it's just so. We have this twisted, kind of view of relationships, right? Because we're in a sinful, broken world. I don't think this is necessarily like a cultural 2026 U.S. thing. I think it's just the way we operate, right?
Yeah.
And the way we've lived in sin for over 2,000 years. And like it's like no, like God's calling us to authentic depth of relationships. And now you're not going to have that with everybody at your church. I mean, there's going to be people that you don't know very well. Like that's just going to be a reality. Try that with them too. But there's a core group of people in your church that like they want to be in your life and they want you in theirs.
Yeah.
And you should go and do that. Like as kindly as I can say that, like do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's like my biggest piece of advice to anyone. And because I just know that in every season of my life that's been, whether it's been great or not, it's always had seasons and little micro seasons of difficulty.
Yeah.
And to know that I have people that have my back and that will tell me, hey, don't be an idiot here. Because you might. Like, don't be that.
Yeah.
And to have that in my life is so necessary, man. And yeah, I'm grateful for that. And I encourage everybody to find a place that if you don't have that yet, dig in, or find a place that you can dig in at and go do it.
Yeah. Amen. I agree wholeheartedly. It's been a huge thing for my family, for me, just to have that community around us. And I hear the same thing from you. So that's really awesome. Yeah. So brother, this has been fun.
Absolutely. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. I hope you were blessed and encouraged by that episode. I hope you were motivated to find common ground with those you come in contact throughout your week by our conversations today. And I just pray that you continue to watch the show and continue to be blessed and encouraged by it. And while we're on that subject, I'd love for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So I'd love for you to be a part of the channel by subscribing today. Plant that seed and subscribe to Common Ground Podcast and help this ministry grow. And while you're at it, check us out on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. All those things are a blessing to the podcast and they help this ministry grow. So I pray that you're willing to do that today. And before I let you go, I've obviously got to remind you about our sponsors, because if you listen to that episode, maybe you forgot about the sponsor we mentioned at the beginning of the show. So check out Morgan's Laser Works. They're a custom hat, custom design, custom apparel company based in Brandenburg, Kentucky, and let them bring your design to life with the eyes of their laser. As you can see, they've done that so many times for Common Ground Podcast with hats and logos and so many different things that they've created for us. So now it's time to let them do that for you. Do you have a logo? Do you have a design? Do you have a business that needs hats or shirts or something made? Check out Morgan's Laserworks and let them do that for you. And we would like to thank Morgan's Laserworks for all they've done for us. They've been such a great sponsor for as long as they've been around with us, and we just appreciate that so much. So thank you, Morgan's Laserworks, for partnering with Common Ground Podcast. And once again, I hope you were blessed and encouraged by this episode. Now it's your turn to go find common ground.